Liberty Hall for me was a symbol of the working people of Dublin, and it has been that symbol since it was built in the 1960s. It stands tall in the middle of our city on the quays, a symbol of hope and of strength for people who work hard. I was last to Liberty Hall as a young solicitor representing women who were working for the union that is housed there, whose rights were being denied. And the statutes and the laws that gave me the power to do that came to us from the European Union. I was born in an era when women were barred from earning a living in some quarters because of their decision to marry, as indeed my own mother, who's here tonight, was barred when she married. So let nobody ever say that I am anti-European. I know the benefits of Europe, and I want my daughters, who are here with me tonight, to believe in the Europe. Across this city, people are looking at their children with love in their eyes and with fear in their minds. These are difficult times, there's no doubt about that. And it's a time when we desperately need politicians who will stand up and tell us the truth. Times are tough right across the world, but our recession is the deepest and the most serious in Europe. Small businesses and farmers are strangled by over-regulation, but our government won't do anything about it. I know I have friends here tonight who are taxi drivers. Thousands of them have watched their livelihoods disappear, and yet the government will not revisit the decision that gives us in Dublin more taxi plates than there are in New York that have lost their jobs and have no idea when or if they will find a new one. That we are so poorly prepared for these times is a reflection of the crony capitalism in which a cartel of bankers, developers and politicians played by their own rules and left the rest of us to pick up the bill. And to deal with crises of their own making, all of the parties in this country have the very same idea. They want to take money out of your pocket to pay for their waste and for their failure. We got an emergency budget that asked us to pick up their tab. It didn't have one single line about job creation or one plan to give real hope to people who have suffered at the hands of their incompetence. Politicians in Ireland believe that we can tax our way out of this recession, something that has never been achieved before. Brian Lenihan raised the level of our VAT in November. He then admitted in February that that decision had cost us €700 million. And then 2 weeks ago, when he came in with the supplementary budget, what did he do to correct that mistake? Nothing. Nothing at all. Libertas, as a new political party, will employ some economic common sense. We believe that if somebody has to cut back, it should be the government and not hard-working families. There are too many quangos, too many committees that cost us too much, that give politicians an excuse to do nothing. These committees are used to appoint party supporters and dole out jobs for the boys. We would abolish most of them and make our politicians take direct responsibility and earn the salaries. An economic approach at home and in Brussels that will encourage people to build up their businesses and to employ more people. It's the only way to get money back into our economy and to get it moving back into our economy and to get it moving again. Now, the EU does do an enormous amount of good, and it has the potential to do even more. It has the capacity to make our lives better, to strengthen our economies, and to give us a strong voice on the world stage. We should never underestimate. It will cost over €130 billion this year, and we pay for it with our taxes. And that is what gives us the right to question it, to analyse it, and to demand that it justifies to its people every action that it takes in our name. This does not make us Eurosceptic. It makes us good and responsible European citizens. In less than a year, it has become a pan-European political party, running candidates right across the EU to really represent and be accountable to the 500 million people of the EU. Libertas is a team of respected individuals from all over Europe. Our candidates include doctors, lawyers, successful businessmen and women, a nurse leading a party in Malta, and even former prime ministers. Libertas candidates come from a range of backgrounds, with real-life experience and from right across the political spectrum. We are all united in one goal, and that goal is to bring Europe closer to and make it accountable to its citizens. This is the most difficult constituency in which to seek elections this year, given that the 4 sitting MEPs are fighting to get 3 seats. I am a newcomer, and I can make a difference. I believe that the MEPs should report back to Leinster House every quarter. I believe our expenses should be made public. Gay Mitchell does not. Gay Mitchell voted to keep the Galvin report on abuse of MEPs' expenses a secret from the people. There's about €100 million worth of money in that report. If I'm employed to do this job, I will represent the people of Dublin. I will work tirelessly to ensure our country's place at the very heart of a more accountable, more democratic European Union. The European Union, we all know, is going through a crisis of credibility, and this is made worse by our leaders at home and in Brussels. Most people didn't understand the Lisbon Treaty, and they haven't a clue how the European Union works. And the political establishment here and in Brussels never felt that they had to explain themselves at all to the very people who gave them. Spending is outrageous. This year, 1.2 million of our taxpayers' money, believe it or not, has been spent to train TV glamour models for the new EU television channel which will be telling us all what we should think. €2.4 billion has been spent on PR for the EU. And €100,000 was spent on a ski slope on a perfectly flat piece of land in Denmark where it never snows. That has got to stop from being a society that treasures the bonds of community and family, that cherishes its most vulnerable members and speaks for those without a voice. If you give me this job, I will fight for a Europe that respects our values and lets us choose them for ourselves. Red tape is strangling Irish businesses. The Taoiseach's office told us in a report 2 years ago that the bureaucracy from Europe is costing Irish business €600 million a year. We need a small number of effective laws, not a huge number of bad. It's time we stood up for ourselves, for our livelihoods, and for our economic future as committed Europeans. It's time we worked together for a Europe that truly represents us and for the leaders we deserve. The EU is a body urgently in need of new blood. Seeking election in this constituency is not a safe bet. It may not be politic, it may not even be popular, but we all have to do what we can do to contribute to Irish and European recovery. I am asking you, the people of Dublin, to give me a job to work for you.